On this episode of This is Game Boy, yes, it's finally the DragonHeart episode. And welcome back, everybody. So, we are finally recording the DragonHeart episode to give Mo and EBC one more week off. They deserve it, I think. So, this week it's going to be me and my beautiful co-host, Petra.
Hello.
And we'll start off just like we always do, talking about what we've been up to and what we've been playing. Recently, over the last year, I picked up Super Smash Bros. Melee as just a side hobby, a new game to pick up, because Petra has been playing it for a long time, and I wanted to pick it up as well. And just the other week, I won my very first bracket. There was only 3 other people in it, but I will still take that. And I finally bought Civ 6, 7 years after it came out, but I told everybody when it was under $20, I would buy it, and it was under $20, and I bought it. But the problem is, I just play that game like SimCity. I don't think I've ever built an attacking unit ever. I just try to build a city as big as I can, and then Genghis Khan shows up and runs me over every time. And Petra and I together have been trying to beat all of the Mario parties. We have gotten nowhere in any of them, because whenever we play one board on one, we decide to switch to the next one, but we're steadily making progress. And Petra, what have you been up to?
Playing a lot of Melee. I got back into it around the same time Legs did. I play Fox. I also run a tournament for my region, since because of COVID there's no tournaments. We didn't really get any back earlier this year, so it's just kind of been online for the past year and a half, and I've been running them every week, which is pretty fun, and it's a good excuse to get good matches versus really good people. Which is the main reason I keep doing it, because even if there are less people, I still get to play good people who are better than me and get that experience.
Gave us the opportunity to meet everybody who's local in the scene as well, despite us not being allowed to see anybody.
Yeah, keeping it region locked builds a sense of community, even though we're all separated and can't go to tournaments or see each other at tournaments and stuff. And so yeah, I've been doing that. I live in Nova Scotia now, so it's nice here. I like it here. But I don't work or anything. I'm just at home because I'm waiting to become a permanent resident. And because of COVID and everything, I don't feel like I'd want to work in most places I could work right now. So I'm just at home playing Melee, doing stuff like that. I've been playing a lot of Minecraft recently on a server and building spooky stuff. I learned how to do really elementary redstone stuff, and built this really loud noise machine underneath someone's house, which was cool.
I have seen some of the things she's been building. They're just big towers for their ominous spikes, and then just these deep booming sound machines that she buries under people's houses.
Yeah, dripstone is so cool, and all the new I don't even know if they're new blocks, but blackstone and deep slate, you can turn them into really nice looking blocks, which is cool. The most recent one I built was it has a jump puzzle on top of it, built out of amethyst blocks, and it's built out of deep slate tiles, and it looks like a cool monolith.
People keep asking me what my wife is building, and I don't know what to tell them.
Yeah, everyone else just builds really nice looking stuff, and I just build spooky, weird looking stuff. Right now I'm also trying to make recreate the sun with magma blocks and glowstone blocks and stuff. I want to build it and make it really big, so that when you look up at the sky you just see that. I've also been playing Arena of Kings, which is if you've ever played World of Warcraft PvP, 3v3 Arena, it's literally just that. It's just only the PvP aspect of it. There's no PvE or any stuff like that. So you just queue up with random people and play. There's a bunch of classes, and they have really similar to World of Warcraft. They have Paladin Bubble. They have like Cyclone. They have I don't know, all the stuff you'd expect. They have like Execute, and they have trinkets, and they have like the arena with the pillars, so you could stand behind them and try to restore mana. It's like literally a really good recreation of like Wrath of the Lich King or like Cataclysm, old style arena stuff. I don't know what World of Warcraft arena is like now, but that's what I'm used to, is like TBC, Wrath, Cataclysm, arena, and it recreates it like really well. And it's free. It's like you can buy stuff to increase your character slots, but it's completely free on Steam, which is cool.
I don't know anything about World of Warcraft, and I've been watching her play this for like the first like 3 hours, and I thought she was playing RuneScape.
Yeah, it's not. It's like not. It's not like it's third person like WoW, but it's like lower quality graphics, kind of like OSRS. You get that same kind of like field point of view as OSRS, and it's like kind of similar graphics quality. It's like a little bit better. Like it's not as jagged and stuff, but it's very similar in like quality to OSRS. And it's just a mashing game. Well, it's not really mashing, but it's like it's
Buttons
there's
are
so much
getting
stuff.
pressed fast.
There's so much stuff and there's like 13 classes, so there's a lot of stuff going on.
So, coming up, we're going to be talking about DragonHeart for the Game Boy, based on the 1996 film DragonHeart, starring Dennis Quaid of Parent Trap fame. Oh, I completely forgot. This game also only has one song. It's played during the title screen, during every single level, and then also during the credits. So, enjoy that. And welcome back, everybody. I hope you enjoyed that song. I think it has at least 7 notes, so you can enjoy that much. So we're gonna go over the general overview of the game now, and then I'm gonna go through a little bit more detailed about how each of these levels are, because the like overlap between the game and the movie is like there's a lot of what there is to enjoy about this. So this game was released in 1996 to coincide with the release of the movie DragonHeart. It was also coincided with like 12 other releases of this game on every platform you can imagine. It was developed by Taurus Games, though, makers of other Smash GB hits like Beavis and Butthead and Jurassic Park and that one really awful Stargate game. It was published by Acclaim, as I think all 3 of those other games were as well. I couldn't begin to imagine who composed these 7 notes together, but whoever did it, they did a good job. It's like, it's only the same thing over and over again, but if you only hear it like once, like, it's not a bad rendition.
Yeah.
But this guy sat down for like an hour and a half, got this bit out, and he was like, I'm exhausted my genius. The genre is a little more complicated. One of the most attractive things about this game is not how good it is, but how unique it is. It's very, very close to like trying to play it how you would like imagine an Elder Scrolls D-make on a Game Boy would be. You are first person, like exploring this free world, like accepting quests from people you run into. Except you explore the world through like those old first-person dungeon crawlers where you're, like, constantly just staring at the wall that's directly in front of you and you have to draw out where you're going on grid paper, which, for the record, is what I did for all of these levels when I mapped this game out. But, like, with a touch of point-and-click adventure as you, like, enter in and out of all of the different levels, like, if you had to translate all of the different things, or a few of the things from modern Elder Scrolls games back to a Game Boy, you would probably end up with something similar to this. But before we get into details of the game, first you need to know what DragonHeart is. So the game is based off the 1996 film DragonHeart, and I'm going to let Petra explain to you roughly how it goes.
Yeah, so the main guy, Dennis Quaid, his character's name is Bowen, and he hates all the dragons.
He hates them so bad.
He hates dragons, and he likes to kill dragons. But the king of the king of this land that they occupy,
This nondescript northern England.
Yeah, he was like injured as a young king, so they took him to a dragon and had his they gave him a dragon heart so he could or half of the dragon's heart so that he could be healed and survive. But having this dragon heart has made him evil. His name is King Einan, and he's grown up to be this evil king who's enslaved lots of people and stuff like that. But eventually Bowen finds that dragon. I don't know if it's just by chance or if he was hunting the dragon, but they fight. They have their
I think it's he was the last dragon left, and he's like, "I'm coming for you. I've heard that you exist, Sean Connery." The dragon is Sean Connery, by the way.
Yeah. So he hunts this dragon down, finds this dragon, and then they have their actual fight. But the movie's like a comedy. It's not serious at all. So the fight just includes various ridiculous things happening, the dragon gets its tail stuck in some wood.
It's very goofy.
Eventually Bowen gets in the dragon's mouth, and he's holding the dragon's mouth up so he can't close it and kill him or something.
The dragon is good, he's in the dragon's mouth with his sword up, so the dragon can't bite
sword.
Yeah.
Because
so they're both trapped in this situation
for ever. So they just decide that they will be friends, and then the rest of the movie is them they scam people, and then the dragon gets taken or something, and they have to storm the castle and fight King Einan.
Bowen very quickly goes from, "I must defeat all the dragons and defend the land," to, "I bet me and this dragon can scam a lot of people out of some money."
Yeah, it's like they go to this village and they're like, "I'll kill this dragon that's taking all your livestock," and they just run away with the money that they get.
Yeah, they're in
for some reason.
I don't know why pretends to. I don't know why
the dragon. I think his name is Draco or Drago.
Yeah, he has no incentive to be doing any of it.
Yeah. He's just a dragon.
And he's like, "All right, let's get him."
So the game kind of roughly follows the movie, but it basically takes the idea of a game where Bowen upholds the old code and kills all the dragons, and then that's it. It has Bowen and Einan and Drago, and that's it, and they decide that the game's gonna be a different story.
It's the developers didn't get to see the movie. It's they had to make it to coincide with the release of the movie. So somebody gave them a phone call. Somebody called them on Skype 6 months before this movie came out, and they were like, "There's a guy, he hates dragons, he's gonna kill all the dragons," and then he's like, "And then they gotta kill the king, and also they scammed some people." And then they were like, "All right, we can run with that.
Yeah.
So it does. It roughly follows the plot of the first movie, but there's so many more dragons in the game than there is in the movie. There is one dragon in the movie, and it's Sean Connery. There are several dragons in this game, one of which is named, despite none of the other ones being B, but I'll get into that now. I'm going to roughly go over the levels, and I'll explain to you how they coincide with the movie. So level 1 starts, and it does what a good level 1 does. It teaches you the aspects of the game. And there are two main aspects to this game. One, talking to absolutely every living human being that you see. And two, backtracking everywhere you've been 100 times. In this first level, you have to get a sword, kill a dragon. Makes sense? Seems like a thing to do in DragonHeart. You're learning the game or whatever. So the way you need to get a sword. You say you wander around. There's one of two things you can run into. You run into a guy who's planting turnips, and you can go down that quest route, which gets you nothing. It just ends and nothing happens. It's just a waste of time. Or you can go the other way, and you go into the town. If you enter the town, you go to the blacksmith. Blacksmith's like, your sword is a piece of garbage. I'll give you a good sword if you give me some money. It cost 2 coins, whatever a coin is. And now, how do you think our great hero Bowen would earn the coins to be able to get himself a sword? Go and fight something that's like small? Go and do a quest for somebody and deliver something to them? No. He begs. There's only one other human being in this entire map, and it's a monk that you beg to give you some money, and then he gives you some money. I don't know where the incentive for this came from. There's nothing like this anywhere in the movie, but it's fine. It's fine. It's like a prequel. Cool. Then you use the sword. You go, you buy your sword. You use the sword that you get. You wander into the second half of the game, which is first-person dungeon mazes that are always either a cave, a dungeon, or a forest. You get to the end of it. At the end of it, there's a dragon. You fight him in the goofiest crab battle. So when you get to the only thing that you fight in this game is dragons. No, you fight people at the end, but all the fights play out the exact same way, and the most thing you fight is the dragons at the end. And so the only way to fight them and actually win is you can like block and do things like this, but none of this is useful. All you do is as soon as the match starts, you hold forward, you walk straight into the dragon until you can't move anymore, and then you mash. And you wiggle that little candlestick that you have in front of you until the dragon falls down. And it just works 100% of the time. Except for one dragon where it works 80% of the time. So that's how you kill the dragon, he collapses down, boom, level 2 starts. It's called something. So in level 2, it actually mildly lines up with the movie. I wouldn't say it lines up with the movie. There's a character in level 2 that exists in the movie. So at first you start this level. Just like every other level, it starts and you gotta find the dragon to kill. And so the first thing you run into is this lady in her house, and she's like, "Good God, my husband has tried to go kill the dragon, go save him." Which you go stop him, and it's very convincing. And then you have to go to the town, you talk to Felton, who's somebody who's actually from the movie, who's just like a jerk you run into who runs a town. You go back and forth between this town and other places like 6 times, until you eventually tell him, up yours, steal an axe, kick down a broken barricade to a forest, and go kill another dragon. Just classic hero stuff. Then level 3 starts, and it's like, cool, we've lined up with the movie, like, we got through the first level, we met somebody from the movie, we're gonna go through the plot now. No. Level 3 is where things immediately go completely off the rails. It's like they had absolutely no material for this game, they realized after level 1 or level 2, and they're just like, we need to start putting things into here. So you go back and forth between the same 2 locations 50 times to make oatmeal for an old man. None of this happens in the movie. This level is so long. You're just going back and forth. He needs some sugar. You go get the sugar, you bring it back, he needs some raisins. You get the raisins, you bring it back, he needs a spoon to eat it with. You do this like 100 times before he tells you where the dragon is. And how do you go and get these items? Do you go on a quest to discover them because you don't know where they are? No, you go to the same person in the only other house that exists and you beg for them. Just like classic hero Bowen, he begs for them.
And the thing with this like fetch quest that they make you do is that you have to say like the right things in the text with these characters, or they'll just kick you out, and you have to restart it over and over.
It's not
again.
like just go to the house and mash A. If you say "give me the sugar" instead of "give me the sugar, please," so help you God.
Yeah.
And in between the 2 places that you have to run back and forth, there's just one guy who wanders around at random who has an incredibly long dialogue sequence. And so the entire time when you're running back and forth, you have your fingers crossed that he's not going to be in your way when you're trying to do a speedrun of this game. Finally, this man gets his like meal the way he wants to eat it. He tells you where the dragon is, and you go, unsurprisingly, murder the dragon. And then level 4. So, still completely off the rails, nothing to do with anything that's been in the movie yet. You start by freeing some wanted fugitive in the middle of the woods who's been left in the stocks by some town that's occupied by the king. Then you go trick the world's dumbest guard into releasing the town folk just by telling him to like look the other way. Now, the overlap between the film and this game is just, there's a character and his name is Bowen. That's it. There weren't any other dragons in the movie. Like, But again, still, you go, now that you've freed people from this town, you just go kill another dragon. He wasn't mentioned in this level up to this point, but we got to get one in at the end anyway. Now, level 5, if you can believe it, if you can believe that the Oatmeal Man was not the low point of this game, this is the most nonsensical level yet. You run into, this is a part, I have a lot of problems with this. You run it, so the first thing you do, you spawn in this level, you walk, there's a town in front of you, you walk in, and you're like, oh, everybody is dying of thirst, like wallowing in the streets, like actually dying, like hung over the well. There's some people in there like dying, like in their beds, and their children are trying to take after them now. And the only issue is that they don't have any water. And so it's like, well, geez, there's a well right in the middle of the town. And so it's like, well, is the well dry? Is the well poisoned? You go click on the well to check it out, and of all things that could be wrong, they don't have a bucket. This town had a single bucket, and they've lost it. And so now they're all just they've just all resigned themselves to die. They don't have a bowl. They don't have a cup that can tie a string around. They don't have a hat that could duck down there. Nothing. They're all just gonna die. So you go out and you like in most of these levels, you walk outside and you talk to the only other human being that's around. And this character that I didn't name him this. This is his name in the game. He lets you know. Buckethead is a man who has a bucket on his head just outside of town. You convince him that he needs a hat instead of a bucket. You, unsurprisingly, go back and forth to the town to buy him a hat, trade him the hat for the bucket, and miraculously you've saved the town.
And he has an extremely long dialogue thing too. His is like 11 or 12 different choices deep or something.
Yeah, and if you get any of them wrong, he's just like, no, I like my bucket. And it's awful. Anyway, he never even comes back to the town. You just convince him to give you the bucket. And then when you talk to him again, there's still like one picture on his head. And he still has the bucket on, even though apparently you got it from him. But whatever, that's fine. So, you go back to the town now, you got the bucket. This is the most heroic thing you've done so far. We are more than halfway through this game, and the most heroic thing this man has done is find a bucket. But this can't be saving the town. That's not a way to end a level. You know what the way to end a level is? Kill a dragon. But no, surprise of all things, you don't kill this dragon. We finally meet the dragon from the movie, where like you team up with him, and now you're gonna go fight the king or whatever after you scam some people. The last dragon that's supposed to be alive of all time. So it's like, cool, we've met the dragon. Now we've synced up with the movie. So then. Instead of killing him, when he gets down to like 1 health, you go through the scene from the movie where you like hug it out and then become friends. So now, level 6, like, I want level 6 to be the level that's based on the movie finally, but it's so laughably loosely connected to the movie. So the first thing that happens in the movie now is they go and scam that town. They go to this town full of people, and they're like, oh, what's up? And then they trick them into thinking that the dragon is attacking them, and then they trick them into thinking that he killed the dragon, and they get a bag full of money for rescuing the town, and they leave. But in this level, the first town you run into, they're, like, portrayed as some, like, meat-addicted cannibals.
Yeah.
They're like, you run into this pig that they want to capture and eat, and if you don't bring them the pig, they just eat you, like, it's off the wall. And so you have to bring them the pig, then you get like a piece of the pig to bring a guard. They get the dumbest people in the world to be a guard for every single one of these jail cells. You like wave a drumstick at him to get your buddy out of jail. And then as soon as you get him out of jail, what do? What do your buddy that you got out of jail, and what is apparently the last dragon left alive, what do you guys go do? You go kill a dragon. Because apparently that's not the only one that's left, and every level has to end with you killing a dragon. So you just go into a forest and kill another unnamed dragon. How Draco is even fine with this, how Sean Connery is like, he's just like, yeah, man, go into the forest, I'll see you later. I don't know what you guys are doing in there, I'll see you in 40 minutes. So you kill your other dragon, great. Now we go into level 7. So at the very end of this game, we finally line up with the movie. You run around. This is actually a fun quest. You have to run around to all the different people that exist in this field. You go in any order you want, and you have to convince them to come join the fight to, like, kill the king. And there's lots of different dialogue trees. There's lots of different ways to convince them. Depending on the order that you get them, you have different trees. It's a very interesting level. Very fun. That's the first half of the level, though. So after the first half of the level, you've collected everybody, and then you and the, like, 7 people who exist as all of the peasants in this world decide to go kill the king now. But, like, the second half of this level is not killing the king. The second half of this level is some strange side quest about you meeting a man who has a horn that can summon dragons.
Oh, yeah.
So which you blow to summon a dragon to murder.
Yeah.
Again, we're on our way to kill the king. We have collected people. The dragon is with me, and I have to stop to kill this one more dragon here. And then level 8 is actually like, it's like they planned the first and last level, and they were like, oh god, we have to make 6 more levels in between this thing. Because the last level is actually like pretty good at like lining up with the movie, and it's like actually pretty fun.
Yeah.
You have to run through the castle and fight the guards, which is something that happens in the movie. And then like at the end of the movie, you're like running up this spiral staircase that's like in a tower, you know what I mean? Like that exists in like castles. And so they replicated that in the game, where you're like keep running in this circle, chasing after Einon, doing a little bit more damage in each fight, and then you finally stab him, and then when you kill the king, the dragon dies as well because they're linked because they're hearts, and then he gets to go to dragon heaven, and then the game ends.
In space, yeah.
It's in space. It's very beautiful.
They turn into stars or something.
Which finally ends Bowen's honorable mission of killing every dragon that exists. It's almost like killing the king was secondary, and it's like now I've got the last one.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, if anything, they like more accurately portrayed Bowen, who loves killing dragons. In the movie,
honestly,
he did very little dragon killing.
In the movie, they just talked about how many dragons he killed, but he never did it. But if you watch this movie and you're like, there was not nearly enough dragon killing for I was promised this dragon killer, play the Game Boy game.
Yeah, you really get your bang for your buck.
Yeah, I don't know anything about the end of the other games, but if you like crab battling dragons and dropping them dead, then this is the game for you. So, before we go, I just want to quickly discuss the cover art. There's only one cover art that exists. It is, it's like a stock art picture of some trees with just an enormous PNG of the dragon on top of it. And then a very, very tiny silhouette of Bowen on a horse. And, like, this is almost as good, except it makes the dragon look like he's 600 feet tall.
Yeah. And it's very seductive. He's like sitting on the ground by a campfire that's like lighting the side of his face, and he's like he's just like looking down like softly onto
The problem
Bowen.
is this is a part of the picture of the dragon is like an actual scene from the movie.
Yeah.
And it's a scene from the movie where he's having like a tender moment with like Bowen, and they've become friends and they're like having a moment with each other. But the picture of Bowen is like a silhouette of him on the battlefield on his horse.
And I mean, it couldn't even not be Bowen at all. This could
Yeah,
just be
it is just like literally a silhouette of a knight.
no descriptive like.
It's like
features at all.
visually it's good, but tonally it's like very, very off. So speaking briefly of what the other games, so they released this game along with one for the Saturn, one for the PlayStation, one for the PC. There was just like...
And they were all different.
And they're all completely different.
The ones for those were like side-scrolling, like...
Yeah.
It was like a...
They looked... The PS1 one especially.
Yeah.
Anyone that says Fire and Steel, that's not this one.
Yeah.
It makes it very confusing to look up anything for this game too, because I just kept finding stuff for the other games, which was useless. But I couldn't find any modern day reviews for this game. But every review for every other remake of this game, garbage. People universally hated these games. Yeah. Now, it might have sounded like I was panning it a lot, like I had a lot of bad things to say when I was covering the levels, but honestly, playing this game is so much fun. Like, I speedrun it and I have a great time with it, but playing this game blind, I earnestly think, is very fun. It's like playing a very early, like, modern-day RPG. You get to do all sorts of very interesting things. You have different ways to go about your solutions. It's just like, the execution and like a lot of Game Boy games, that like the mechanics of actually doing like the fighting or whatever the main like part of it is just like not super fun.
Oh yeah, and it's like it doesn't really hold your hand or anything. You just kind of wander around the whole time. If you don't look anything up about this game or like a guide or anything, you just wander around in every level, and eventually you finish the level.
It just wants you to wander. I'm pretty sure I watched Mo play some of it blind, and it's a game.
If you don't have any information, it's rough. It's a little rough, but...
So, we're going to take a short break now. I think instead of making you guys suffer through the exact same song 7 times, I'm going to get some of the trailer audio from this movie so you guys can get like a real sense of like how you're supposed to feel when you're playing this game. And then when we'll be back, we're going to be covering the many sequels and prequels that exist for this movie. Because, oh yes, there's not just a sequel. It's not just a trilogy. There are 4 other movies in this genre, or in this series. The last one that came out was in 2020. So, fingers crossed for the next one, too. We'll be right back.
"1,000 years ago, there lived a man of honor and a creature of legend.
He's the greatest dragon slayer that is! I personally have seen him slay almost 2 dragons.
Haven't had this sort of challenge in some time.
Not likely to again.
They were 2 sworn enemies.
How do you like the ride so far? I will rid the world of every last one of you. I am the last one. If you win, you'll be out of work.
Who formed an extraordinary alliance.
I hope you like it well done.
This knight, he's no dragon slayer.
We made a bargain, remember? 1 dragon put down, 1 bag of gold.
Well done, boy. That's even bigger than the last one.
Actually, he's about the same size.
This time, I'll collect the money, and you can die.
But when the forces of evil threatened the land,
In your kingdom, mine, and there are worse fates than death. Father!
they found there is no honor
Men like you give people courage and hope.
without risk
I want it alive!
and no friendship
For I am to die, you must destroy me.
without sacrifice.
I go to save the dragon. Who will go with me?
Universal Pictures presents a motion picture that will make you believe. DragonHeart.
And welcome back, everybody. I hope you enjoyed that, the trailer. Much better than the same song over and over again, I'm sure. Sean Connery is so good in that role. I forgot how good he sounds as that damn dragon.
Yeah. I don't know. It's just weird.
My favorite thing is that, like, Sean Connery, perfect. Couldn't have picked a better role. Dennis Quaid, love him to death. Love him to death. That man was the last pick for the position of Bowen. Hold on, I have it written here. So Liam Neeson was originally rejected for the role of Bowen. I forget why. There was some controversy around it or something. I forgot. But numerous other actors were considered for the part. Gabriel Byrne, Pierce Brosnan, Tom Hanks, Kevin Bacon, Harrison Ford, Mel Gibson, Arnold Schwarzenegger. The director wanted Patrick Swayze more than anybody else, but it landed on our wonderful, talented Dennis Quaid. But so now back to what we're doing. Instead of whatever this section is normally supposed to be, we're just going to talk about all of the sequels and prequels to this movie because it gets very complicated. So this movie came out, The DragonHeart came out in theaters, and then it was followed by a series of straight to VHS, straight to DVD, straight to, I'm sure the most recent one was on Netflix or something, some service like that, straight to something. Never to see theaters again, but honestly, all worth watching, despite being ostensibly the same movie. So there's only one. So the first movie takes place. There's only one sequel, which is the next movie, it came out in the year 2000. 4 years later, people were clamoring for a sequel. we got DragonHeart: A New Beginning.
Yeah, so this one comes out 4 years after, and it's like kind of the same movie. Like it has the same kind of feeling that the first movie does, where it's like an action comedy, and it's like quippy. The main character is the main character who takes the place of Bowen is the older brother from Malcolm in the Middle, who wants to be a knight or something, but he like can't or whatever. So he finds a dragon and raises it from an egg, and together they fight some other dragon. It's like, I don't know. I always forget what happens in this movie, and a lot of the other ones too, because they all just kind of are the same story over again.
The problem with this movie is that it takes place pretty much entirely in a like single courtyard of this one castle.
Yeah.
They almost never leave. They constantly return there, and like every scene feels exactly the same. So it just sort of is a series of things happening. But like we get two dragons in this one at least. So there's like a baby dragon that comes back from, I don't know, it was born of the constellation or something. Dragons are complicated in this universe. But we have the older brother from Malcolm in the Middle, who is ostensibly the same character.
Yeah.
He's just like, I'm a knight. He's not a knight yet, but he wants to be. But he's like, I love the old code. I love this dragon. They become best friends. It's still pretty goofy. They fight the big bad guy at the end, but it just turns out to also be a dragon.
Yeah.
Classic DragonHeart movie, what you would expect.
And then there's a really big break. And there's it isn't even like connected, I don't think. Like these are just more stories about dragons. And the third one comes out in 2015.
Somebody must have bought the property. Like, I don't know if it must have like shuffled hands 100 times or something, but this property lay dormant for 15 years.
And it's, this kind of stuff happens with lots of old movie series. Like the same thing happened with Planet of the Apes, where it's like they had their movies, and then in like the mid 2010s they were like, we're gonna make another one, and it's gonna be like different and like look different and stuff like that.
We've got the technology now.
This was
that it's 2015.
Yeah, this is exactly the same. Where the movies aren't comedy anymore; they're like gritty and dark and try to be like serious.
This one came back like it's one of the grayest movies you've ever seen.
All of them, all of them feel like really just drab and like dark blues and grays and dark browns and stuff like that. And it's DragonHeart 3: The Sorcerer's Curse, which came out in 2015, and
it's like constantly foggy in this movie.
Yeah, and so all these movies are like a prequel to the original DragonHeart. This one takes place in England, and a meteor falls in the forest, which is a dragon. The meteor is a dragon, and this random kid named Gareth finds it, and he raises the eggs, like protects the dragon eggs. And as a reward for that, he gets half of a dragon heart and is now immortal. But then the eggs get stolen, and they gotta go fight the people who stole the eggs. And yeah, this is the one I remember the least of out of like the other one, the fourth DragonHeart movie. But yeah, this one.
When we were watching these, the thing is, we didn't have the 15-year gap between when we were watching them, because we were just watching them like once a week.
Yeah.
So we watched this one, and it's like totally shifted. Yeah. I kept waiting for it to get goofy, and like it just never did. So like, I don't know why. I don't know what made them to do this decision, because there was the original DragonHeart, and the next one was a sequel. It took place 20 years later. It was pretty much a direct sequel. And now this third one starts, and they're like, it's hundreds of years ago. It's like the past like you don't even know. The dragons you knew before, forget it. This is the gritty new dragon world of 200 years ago.
Yeah.
So yeah, this dragon falls out of the sky. That dragon pops out of it along with 9 eggs. You thought there weren't enough dragons in the previous movies? Well, here we go. We got 10 of them here. But the problem is, the one dragon comes out. He immediately gets hurt in the fight of like trying, because a meteor falls and he's like, oh, what's this? And so he immediately gets hurt because all the druids, who for whatever reason are their enemies in this movie, also run up to them and start attacking them. So the entire movie just becomes like, so yeah, as soon as like he finds the dragons, he gets swiped and he gets, like, by one of their knives or throwing axes or whatever. And the dragon, who's known him for a total of 8 seconds, has seen him, like, catch an egg, and that's all he's done, is like, I've ready to give you half my heart. All the other movies were, like, about how it was, like, this huge decision for a dragon to do this. Because, like, it's a very big thing in all these movies that if a dragon don't live their life right, they don't get to go to dragon heaven.
Yeah.
Which is a real place in space that they point out to constantly. It's just a constellation. But if you don't live, like, a great life, you don't get to do it. But this dragon doesn't care. Why it even came out of this meteor or where these eggs came from, doesn't matter. Never explained. The dragon likes this kid, here's a half a heart. But then the entire movie just becomes the whoa, fumble, I'll almost drop the egg, the egg almost got hurt, oh no, the egg's rolling down the stairs. And then the entire movie is just that. And then I think they hatch at the end, I don't remember, they fight a bunch of druids. I remember at one point, like, a bunch of the eggs, like, do, like, break. They're just gone. They don't even save them all in the end.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's where some of the dragons came from, I guess.
Yeah, so they have that in 2015, and then in 2017, they decide to make another one for whatever reason, called DragonHeart Battle for the Heartfire.
Battle for the Heartfire.
And it takes place after the last one, and...
So yeah, after the prequel, but still before the regular movie.
Yeah. So the character from last one, Gareth, who found the dragon meteor and, like, the eggs and raised them. Yeah. His son decides he hates dragons.
Yeah, I don't know if they ever explain why, but he's like, I hate him. I hate him so bad.
But somehow his wife has twins, and they're, like, part dragon.
Yeah, they're born with, like, scales and stuff.
Like, the daughter, it's a boy and a girl, and the daughter has, like, this dragon, like, scales on the side of her face, and the son has, like, dragon scales on his back, and the son is, like, super strong, and the girl can, like, do magic stuff.
That's their individual dragon powers.
And there's a dragon in this movie that's bonded to them.
It's the same dragon as the last movie.
Yeah.
It just, like, disappeared for a while, and then was, like, one day it was like, oh, I sense I'm bonded to people. I'm coming back.
Yeah. So these kids have powers, and the girl is, like, she accidentally burns down a house, so everyone's like, oh my god, she's a witch.
Kill her.
We have to kill her, and so she gets sent off and becomes a Viking by her brother.
Literally, not even like an exaggeration or a rough description on our point. Her brother is like, I'm gonna push you off on a boat because that's the way to keep you safe, and she just lands with the Vikings and becomes a Viking.
Yeah, and so that the movie is like them meeting and, like,
he becomes kings. He becomes king. She becomes queen of the Vikings, and then they fight.
Yeah. And then after that, 3 years later, in 2020 of all years,
2020,
they decide
this is what the world needs.
They're gonna make a DragonHeart movie again.
The fifth one.
DragonHeart Vengeance. And all we watched is a trailer, and
we haven't seen this one.
We haven't seen this one. I don't know where I would see it.
But brace yourselves.
I mean, if you really like dragon movies, maybe you should watch it. But in the trailer, the only thing that was of note was that the dragon in it is a girl. And they make a joke about how it's a girl dragon this time.
It's like, that's like literally it. He's like, it just like shows this guy, and he's like, I need help. And then someone goes, the dragons give help. And then he goes to an ice-filled cave. You know it's a girl dragon because she breathes ice instead of fire.
Ice instead of fire.
An ice one.
Yeah.
And then she's like, hello. And then he's like, oh my god, you're a girl.
You're a girl. Dragon.
And then
girl dragon.
It just cuts to a bunch of ice being breathed.
Yeah.
I'm gonna still watch it, don't get me wrong.
I mean yeah. It's another dragon movie. I mean, they can't even be called DragonHeart anymore. I feel like DragonHeart was just the first one, and these are all just I need
to know under what circumstance they have fabricated that these two become bonded. Something happens that this guy needs a heart, I guess, and I need to see this happen. The only reason I love these movies so much is because when I was a kid, I have a vivid memory of watching the first one, and the scene where he, like, takes out his heart and
Yeah.
gives it is just like so well done. It like lived with me forever. All right. So what you listeners, you listen, go watch this movie. Tell us what you think. You let me know, and then we'll decide. We'll give you an update next time. What everybody thinks.
Tell us what your favorite dragon is.
Yeah, watch all of the. Your homework is to watch all 5 DragonHeart movies, and then tell me which of all of the dragons is your favorite. And so, with that, the regular scripted outro that I'm always producing and only half paying attention to every time I'm editing it. There's me. This is my beautiful co-host, Petra.
Hi.
Hi.
It's me.
And thank you to Mo and EBC for letting me steal this week's episode. Finally.
We finally had to actually do it.
We've done it now.
Now we can never do it again.
They've already recorded more Mania, so the only thing they can come after me for now is Zoo Block, maybe? Cave Noir, the inevitable Cave Noir episode.
I don't know how you could make a whole episode about Zoo Block.
Oh, I'll make an episode about Zoo Block. I'll see you guys on a future light for Zoo Block. Just you wait. We have a Patreon that I'm supposed to tell you about. The shirts. So this is the thing. Every time I'm doing this episode, every time I'm doing the episodes and I'm listening to the outro and I hear them mention the products, the merch, these shirts, I've bought a lot of shirts online in my life. Hands down, the nicest online shirts I've ever had delivered to me is this Tigby shirt. I don't know. It's just so, I don't know where it came from.
It's pretty soft.
If you ever, it feels, the fabric, great, fantastic. No scratchy tag, no nothing. Yeah. But the like print on it, this like huge print you would expect to crack and like break really quickly, like on everything. It's perfect. It's amazing. We've washed it plenty of times. It feels great. Big recommend. Even if you're just looking to make your own merch, I recommend whatever people we used for this. It was great.
Yeah.
But if you go to, do we have, is there a website? This is live, everybody. This is the more, what is it? No, it's Tigby something.
No, it works.
Yeah, this is GameBoy.com. You can go there.
Yeah,
it'll redirect you to the GB runners. Go here. It'll bring you to all the things I'm supposed to be telling you about, and then I can pretend that I've done my job.
Yeah.
Perfect. Beautiful. Next episode, you're going to be hearing whatever the next light is. I don't know what it's going to be. I forget. Hold on. I can actually find this out too. Live again. The next light is gonna be... Join the Discord, everybody, and you'll be able to know yourselves. You won't have to wait for me to tell you about it. Oh, Parasol Henby. This is gonna be great. I'm looking forward to this one too now.
That game sucks.
No, it's so good. Parasol Henby's really good. Sucks. Don't listen to people who badmouth it. I'm telling you.
Maybe a few levels are good, but that game overall sucks.
And the next full episode will be Metroid, so we'll see you there. Bye, everybody.
Goodbye.
On this nice. Perfect. Keep that in. It's a perfect start. Just get right back the moment as I hit record. Couldn't ask for a better co-host.
Oh my god.
Beautiful.